Okay, so welcome back, traders, and you're tuned into Market on Mic, the podcast that helps you not just to navigate the market, but also to sharpen the most important tool in your trading toolbox. Now, it is really nice to have you all on another exciting episode. That is the episode 3 of Market on Mic. So if you're joining us for the first time, of course, you want to listen to episode 1 and episode 2 so that, remember the goal is to actually be very informative so that we can actually make money. And one thing about this market is all information will pay you. So you really do not want to, miss out on any of the episode. And don't forget, this is Natasha and I'm joined by...
This is Daniel. All right. Thank you very much. And it's great to actually be on another episode of Market on Mic. And I'm very excited about this episode because we have someone special is actually joining us for this particular episode. So, like we said in the last episode, that we're talking about something very, very important, something very special, which is actually the trader's mindset. All right. And well, we'll be drilling into someone that has gone through all of those mindsets, all of those emotions, fear, confidence, all of those emotions actually comes to trading, and showing us some of sharing his experience so that we can all grasp and learn from them. All right. And it's actually very important because, when we talk about psychology, or when we talk about the trader's mindset, that's one of the most important thing that brings a trader to the point of profitability or of actually really making that consistent profit, right? So your mental game is actually very, very, very important. And today we'll be talking about the trading psychology. So if you've ever felt the emotional roller coaster of trading, probably you're yet to start out, or you've been trading but you've not really got your foot in the game, you've not really gotten your foot firm in the game, whether it's fear, it's greed, overconfidence, trust me, this episode is for you, right, Natasha?
Exactly. And it's easy to focus on technicals, charts, and strategies, but the mental side of trading is often where the real challenge lies. And we're bringing this in before technicals or strategies, and we're thrilled to have an expert with us today. To discuss how to manage this psychology behind the trades, right? And just like what Daniel said, it's not just about clicking the buttons or, just firing that bullet. The real trading comes when, you are actually on that trade and watching your money move.
Yeah, and I'm actually very excited. Let's just welcome him. Podcast. I'm excited because he's my namesake, right? So we have so many Daniels in this game. So we actually have Daniel join us on this episode. Daniel, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's really, really amazing to have you join us on this episode. And well, we have a lot of people that are there and willing to draw from your wealth of experience, your wealth of, how you were able to, to skill through all of those emotions and the fear, and actually be at a very comfortable position in your trading journey, right? So Daniel has actually had like over 4 to 5 years of experience in this space. So he has gone through a whole lot, if I should tell you. And, he's a seasoned trader with a lot of experience in navigating not just the market, but also the mental side of trading. So Daniel, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Always, bro. Always. So let's just jump into the game, really into the, we just love to hear some few things. This is the first time you're joining us on this podcast. So we want the listeners to actually have a little bit of idea of who leading Daniel is. So just maybe share a little bit of your journey as a trader, how you got to start, some few basic experiences. We're not going deep, just like the surface idea. So
all right, thank you very much. I think now that you even mentioned that, I'll just think back to 2019 earlier on when I first got introduced to trading. So it was kind of, there is this thing that can give you so much money, it's going to change your life. And there's that future, that dream that is being sold to everyone out there, like, when you get on this, just in a couple of weeks, couple of months, or whatever the case may be, you become a millionaire and all of that. So it all started from that, just taking courses, and not necessarily, if I remember, I think it was just WhatsApp, people just copy and paste. People copy and paste information different groups, maybe online, whatever, even from baby peeps. So it was from there I got introduced. I was like, oh, this is making sense. Got to learn about indicators, learn about how the market moves, and it's been an amazing journey, honestly speaking, an amazing one. But if we are to dig deep into the trading aspect of it now, I would say bittersweet relationship, from the start.
That sound toxic.
I think many traders can relate to this. Others, at some point, you're on a high level, maybe you're making so much money. Then on some other days, it's like, what's going on? What exactly is happening right now? Why am I facing this and why am I going through this? So I would say there are countless number of times I've even thought of giving up. Like, why am I doing this? Who said it's a trade? But the good part of it is that you see traders that are doing amazing work. You see people that have gone ahead and they just are a source of inspiration to you. And like, if these people can do this, like, what exactly is wrong? So it just made me dig deep. Like, something has to be wrong somewhere. It's either I'm not getting it right with the strategy, or I'm not well equipped mentally to trade. So it led me to go learn more, study more, particularly when it comes to the mental aspect. There's this book that I first read, that was The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. I think this is like the third time I'm reading that book. It's been a whole lot of help for me on my journey, how to see the trade opportunities, how the trader think basically, because there's something very key in that book. It was talking about how that as traders, there's a way to think to consistently profit from the market. There's a mindset consistently profitable trader have. So if you don't have that, you might be shooting yourself in the leg, or just a recipe for disaster. So it just led me to learn more and see, okay, this is how to react in this kind of situation. These are the things that are necessary for me to know. And in that way, just me on track while I work on my strategy. It just helps me see, oh, these are the things that are necessary for me, and it's just going to help me do well.
Man, that's really amazing, Daniel. I knew we made the right decision bringing you for this episode. You made mention of something very important, the disciplined trader. Mark Douglas is a very, very, when it comes to psychology and trading, he's one of the top guys, top guys out. Top. And that's one of the book I'm going to recommend to our listeners. The Disciplined Trader. We'll maybe post a link for an audio book or an ebook out there. So just make sure you are on track. All right. So Daniel, thank you very much for that experience. And all right, so let's go a little further. Right. So at what point in your journey, because when a person or a trader, or maybe you aspire to come into the trading environment, or you want to take up that journey, you're basically just motivated with, I want to make money.
Definitely.
You just want to make money. So now I'm sure that you must have had that experience. So at what point did you discover that, that there's something more than just the strategies or clicking your buy and sell? So at what point did you discover that, I need to actually work on my mind. I need to have that mental understanding, or that psychological understanding of not just myself, of not just the market rather, but also myself.
All right. So I think it was from the first time where I think a couple of months down the line, I kept losing. And I was like, okay, what's going on? You just, when you lose, there's a tendency to just go back, listen to motivations. You can do this and all of that. Come back, I lose money again. And whether you like it or not, when you go, it just affects your mood. It affects the way you see things. At some point, I started even losing confidence in myself. Generally, like, I started thinking, what can I do? Like, if I can't make money from here, what exactly am I good at? So it just started making me ask questions like, okay, what exactly is going on here? Why am I failing to do this right? Or why is this affecting me? It started making me see myself as someone less. And I'm like, this is not me. This is not who I am. So I can't, because of a losing streak or a losing trade, begin to see myself this way. And it just made me, I started asking questions. So I read books like The Disciplined Trader, even Trading in the Zone, still by Mark Douglas. So there's another book I read. I can't remember the author now. I think it's Emotions Free Trading. I read that. I started listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos on how to get better. It just helped me started seeing things from a better perspective, and it took away that short-term plan with trading for me. I started to see trading as something I want to do, something I delight in doing, something I want to spend so much of my life doing, or probably the rest of my life doing. I want to retire. I tell people like I want to retire with millions of dollars, and I'm just
That's
probably
everybody's
targeting
dream.
1% every month or something, or maybe at the end of the year, probably I'm just getting 10% and I'm good to go. So learning that actually started shaping my mindset and helping me see things the way I should see them in the market.
All right, great. Yeah, that's really, 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 really exciting. And like you said, I think it was on in our first episode. When you begin to have those losses, you see your money going down. That is where you start getting motivated. Really, learn something. Like what's happening?
Definitely.
Or what's going on? I mean, I would love to ask, like, what instrument or what financial class do you really focus on? Is it the forex or the currency market? Do you trade commodities or stocks or futures? Which markets do you build?
Currently at the moment, just currencies.
Currencies.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
really
my
exciting.
focus.
So you're not that over risky kind of person that is doing crypto or
Well, once in a while, I touch some of those volatile assets, but
interested.
I'm just chill. Since the thing about trading is, I've come to learn is that as much as you want to get in the euphoria of everything, or you want to make money, in that sense, definitely every trader is trading because they want to make money. You just have to find yourself in it. You have to find what works for you. Currently, I tell people, and it just feels strange, I trade only one pair at the moment.
Really?
Just one currency.
I actually love that because it just gives you this sense of focus.
Exactly.
Sense of
I can literally tell you what the price is saying currently on Euro USD. That's the only pair I trade. I can tell you what the price is currently at, what happened last week. So I just follow the story in line with my strategy. So that's why I started with the fact that you have to understand yourself, know what works for you, know what you want to focus your energy on. I tell you, even if it's just one pair you trade, you're good to go. Trust me. You don't necessarily have to have, say, 20 pairs on your watch list, or you are jumping from different assets to different assets, because they all have the way they work. They have their dynamics. So you can't necessarily go through all of them and be able to keep your focus. Some people do that though, but when you begin to understand what works for you and how you trade, particularly your strategy, and what runs through your mind or what you want to use your time to do, it just guides you into what exactly you want to focus on the chart.
All right, Dan. I mean, it's really, really exciting, and that's actually lovely perspective to look at it from. So let's bring a little closure to it, to maybe our listeners, maybe someone that is really starting out, so that, I mean, imagine a situation where you're starting out something and you already have an idea of some of the obstacles that you face. You will be in a better position to plan yourself, and you are able to, may not even have to go through or have to, come across those obstacles and things like that. So can you just give us an idea of like some of the maybe the psychological pitfalls that a trader can encounter in their journey? Like maybe are they like maybe specifics, or are there anything like that, like some of the pitfalls? So I mean, someone that is just coming, or maybe someone is just starting their journey, can have that, okay, this can be an issue. So if they begin to see those signs, they know how to quickly overcome it.
All right. So there are quite a couple.
Okay.
And let me first start with the fact that one thing traders need to understand, particularly new traders that are coming in, is that trading is not a get rich quick scheme. So if that is not
it's very, very important.
If that is not sorted from the roots, it is easier to fall into any other pit, into any other trap. So they have to understand first, you have to understand that trading is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes time, it takes learning, it takes hard work, it takes discipline. So you don't just want to come into it and we think, and it's very funny how that people go to universities to spend 4 years, 5 years, 6 years to study a course they would use to work. And you come to trading and you're like, oh, just give me a strategy I can learn in 2 weeks.
Exactly. Let me just start making my money.
It doesn't work that way. So that's one thing to first avoid, that trading is a get rich quick scheme. It's going to really, really affect you. So when you now start going in, you begin to encounter more things. You begin to understand that to trade effectively, you need to be patient. Sometimes you can just get so much in the euphoria. And one thing Mark Douglas would always say is that the market provides you with limitless opportunities. So if you're in a place with unlimited opportunities, gives you the challenge of not knowing what to do exactly, in the sense that you only have the power to control yourself. The market does not control you. The market just does its thing. It's unlimited. At best, there's a closing, there's an opening of the day,
Yeah.
but the market is open every day,
Everything.
every single time,
Day.
sets, weekends, and all of that. So you only as the trader can decide how much you want to make. You only as a trader can decide how you want to interact with this market. So when you begin to understand that, okay, I think now is the time to start talking about discipline. Now is the time to remain patient. When I see my edge playing out, say, okay, there's a checklist. These are the things I want to look out for before I trigger the trade, before I click on the buy or sell button. So that way you are now patient. You're not rushing into it. You're not saying, oh, the market is moving up, it's time to buy. And I think that's how many traders trade. They just see candles moving up and
most times when you make decisions based on candle market is buying and you buy, it begins to reverse.
That's a very terrible one. So you want to watch out for that. You want to be patient, and also fear and greed. I think those are two major things that really take people off guard. And I think I've had so many experiences and cases where I take a trade and gone in my direction, but because there is no discipline, there is no plan whatsoever, and I'm like, okay, I think this should still keep going up, and the trade does not work that way. The market does not work that way. Rather, it does not work by how I feel. It does not work by, oh, I think this is going to go up or this is going to go down. It just does its thing. So what gives me the assurance that me thinking is going to go up, that is going to be the last candle that will print to the upside? So that comes with when you now have to have a trading plan. You're disciplined with it. This is my risks to reward ratio. This is what I am targeting. This is what I can conveniently lose based on my account size. Based on my account size, this is what I can conveniently lose. And it has to be seen from a percentage perspective, not necessarily the amount of money. So when you can see from a good percentage, personally I recommend traders to risk 0.5 to 1% of their accounts. Some people just see me and think maybe I'm just too relaxed, but I'm like, when you go through certain experience, you learn. So that's it.
And speaking about greed, it just made me remember an experience of a friend. I mean, this guy was on a winning trade of about, I think his trades were running about $1,000 profit, and he was still like trying to hold on, trying to see how much more he can get. I mean, that's like $1,000. Just take your profit and go, bro. But at the end of the day, he ended up losing about $2,000 on that same trade.
Wow.
So that greed aspect is very, 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 very important. I cannot be overemphasized. And that fear, fear just looked like something that is a major barrier when it comes to, because you're not open to exploring to the fullest potential, and something just keeps limiting you back. For more fear of missing out, try to jump on a trade that you believe that is already leaving you, and you don't take trade that you've planned. So all of those areas, I believe, is some of the things. Or let me just ask, how do you think maybe a trader struggling with all of those pitfalls, how can they come out of it? How can they come out of that shell? How can they overcome such emotions? And
to overcome that,
it
starts with discipline, and discipline comes from having a trading plan first.
Discipline.
And at times I tell people, many people don't know what a trading plan is. They just think, trading plan is, I'm going to wake up today, I'm going to make $1,000, I'm going to make $500. That's not a trading plan. You just wrote a goal.
Yeah,
you want to make this. How can you achieve this? So trading plan, you want to have realistic things. You want to have things that tell to your being. You want to have things that tell to you, okay, in my trading plan, I can have, whenever I'm stressed, I don't open the charts. That's something really brilliant that people don't pay attention to. You would not know how much harm you're doing to yourself by trading when you're stressed, or you're probably angry or having a bad day. That's not the time to look at the charts, because the charts will humble you. It's going to humble you. So to overcome that, discipline, have a trading plan. What are the things you want to look out for? What's your entry strategy like? What are the checklists? Okay, when I see this play out, I'm going to trigger the trade. And I tell people as well too, don't ever enter a trade without setting your stop loss and your take profits. That's when you've defined your risk to reward. Okay, on this trade, I'm risking 1 to 3. That's my risk to reward ratio, and this is the loss I'm able to bear. So this is my stop loss here. This is my take profit. I have that set already, because the thing about that is, when you have your trades just running that way, you are easily influenced by your emotions. You can see the market going against you, and there's that fear, oh my, this is going against me, I'm going to lose this money. Close the trade abruptly. So if you already said that, there is a mental note it gives you that, oh, I've accepted this risk. Like, okay, this is what I'm risking, and that if it goes in my direction, fine. Because at the end of the day, trading is still a game of probability.
Yeah.
You can't fully guarantee the outcome of what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
you can only analyze, different factors and the information you've gathered together. You can tell, based on all of these factors, this is what's going to happen, following these logical factors.
Yeah.
And you just want to leave your trade that way. You don't want to tamper with it, because at times you can see your trade going in your direction that's not gotten to your take profit, and you're like, my goodness, I need to leave this trade.
Yeah.
And you leave, and you end up missing out on much more money you would have made.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you're already going in a trade, it's going well, and you're like, there's still chance for more. Why is there a chance for more? But if you have a trading plan, you have your strategy in check, you can tell, okay, based on my strategy, I think this is where it's going to exhaust. Like, oh, at this point in time, my strategy tells me the price is not going to go further than this.
Yeah.
So when you stay with that, you can easily define your risk to reward within that zone or within that structure range, and you can take your trade. That way, you're good to go. I tell people, it's not so hard, but if you're not careful, you can fall into several traps. So that's one thing I tell people: discipline, very, very important. Another thing is believing in yourself. You can have and because you now have a trading plan, you're disciplined, you work with it, you can tell that of a truth, I'm doing the right thing. Now it's left for me to believe in myself and my strategy, because maybe I learned from a mentor or from a proven strategy. I've seen it over and over, I've back tested. I see that, okay, this thing works. So if there is a time where I'm taking losses, all I can just do is vet it again. Did I follow the rules? Did I go by the trading plan? And if everything is all right, it's just a loss, I accept it and move on. Say that's the way I see it from the beginning. And I know that when I see another trade, I'm going to execute again.
Exactly.
But if I don't keep to those rules, it's going to gradually deplete my confidence in myself and in my strategy. And that way, when I even see an opportunity to execute, I'm handicapped. So you don't want to trap yourself in that kind of situation. So discipline takes it all. First, believe in yourself and execute flawlessly when you see your strategy.
Beautiful, Dan. In fact, I'm learning a whole lot as you see me. And if you're out there, if you're listening to this podcast and you've been struggling with, some of these things, probably you are struggling with fear or greed, or maybe you've been losing more than you make, that's just the solution to it. Believe in yourself, have a game plan, and execute flawlessly, and also stay disciplined, guys. All right, so Dan, I mean, it's been pretty amazing, and it's great, actually great to have you here. So I think we're going to have maybe one last draw from your well of experience. So what kind of mental practices or routines have you found helpful in keeping your head straight in the game? I've seen some, some people practice, they have to go through probably a state of, maybe try to keep their mind at rest, or maybe they just maybe take out some practices, maybe go to the gym, staying healthy, keeping a good hygiene and things. So what mental practices do you think one can go for to keep ourselves, or to just stay in the game, or have that proper mind?
Okay, one thing I do very well is journaling. And many people just say it for the sake of it and don't really do that. And
just not really that easy.
There's so much power in journaling, because when you do that, it helps you more. Like, oh, Daniel, you're sitting in front of me, like I'm talking to myself now, and I'm telling myself history of what just went down with a trade. So journaling just helps me calm down, put my thoughts out. What was I feeling like when I took that trade? What happened? What was the things that influenced me when taking that trade? Was it solely based on fear? Like, did I truly follow logically all the things I have in mind? So writing it down over and over again, it just creates a mental note to me that this is the thing that produces great results. And with journaling, it helps you filter what is wrong and what is right. because many people think when you trade and you make money, that shows you are right.
You're right.
And that's another pitfall, because you
Yeah,
can
true.
take a wrong move and make money
And
taking
make
a wrong
money.
move.
Yeah.
So you want to be sure everything you're doing is in accordance to your trading plan, because as much as you want to make money in trading, it's not the amount of money you make that determines your progress. It's how well you're keeping to your trading plan, how well you're growing in person, like your mind, how well you're able to accommodate the wins that you're getting, because there's a tendency to have a huge win and you're reckless. You now feel nobody can stop me, or there's a tendency to get into loss and you're feeling bad. Oh, I can't do anything anymore. So journaling just helps me filter the emotions, filter how I'm feeling, and help me see things clearly. That's one thing I do. I journal. Another thing I do, and some people probably see this as stupid, is taking affirmation. Like, that's one thing I do. And people think it's stupid, but you don't know the power of what you're doing. What you're literally doing is you're forcing your mind to see what it should see. So I tell myself things like, I'm a profitable trader. I'm standing to check my chart. I'm waking up to check my chart right now, and I only see things clearly. I'm not confused. I pay attention to the things that are necessary to pay attention
That's
to.
the word, affirming.
Like, affirming that this is who I am. I'm not a trader that loses money, because obviously that's not who I am. I want to make money. And there are a list of things I write down. So I just gave an example. One is, I'm a profitable trader. I see things clearly, and I trade in my best interests, not under fear.
Yeah.
And I'm not ruled by my emotions. So these are some things I say to myself when I wake up to the charts, and it just makes things flow smoothly. It just commands my mind to help me see that, okay, you can't afford to take reckless decisions. You've said this about yourself, and there's a way you can trick your mind into believing that. So when you now make a rookie mistake, or you make an error, you remember, your mind reminds you that, oh, Daniel, you just said to yourself, a profitable trader. Why are you doing this? And it just helps me calm down to look into it very, okay, what happened here? Is this just a trade that happened to be a loss, or was it as a result of me tampering with my trading plan? So I take affirmations, I journal. Those two things, basically, they really help me. And I take rest when needed. You don't have to stay in front of your charts too. I don't stay in front of my charts 2/7.
That can be mentally draining.
When you've gotten so knowledgeable, or you're so familiar with your strategy, I tell you, most times you probably don't even need to spend more than 30 minutes on the chart. You check through, okay, these are the things I'm looking out for. You probably set an alert or a limit order if there's an opportunity to trade, and you go do something else. Spend time. Like, the whole essence of trading is for financial freedom. So why are you spending like the whole of your day? Obviously, if you're just starting out, it's good maybe for knowledge, studying the chart, seeing what happens and all of that. But when you're already getting some results, you don't need to spend so much time. So another thing you can do, take a walk, spend time with your family, talk to a friend, or do something else that makes you happy.
You meditate, we hear that meditation also play a vital role in, some of the mental practices. So do you meditate?
Yeah, sure. That's part of affirmation. When you're meditating, it's not just you just sitting thinking random things. Meditation comes with you speaking. When you go down to the root word, it talks about munching words, saying words to yourself. It's not just by just sitting and thinking random things. You say the words out and you see it play out.
Amazing, Dan. Thank you so much. This has been really, really, really educated. This has been really exciting. Feels like we should add a price tag to this thing, but it's actually been really great, Dan. Thank you so much. And we've had all of this amazing experiences, amazing, the things that we can actually, carry out to avoid some of these emotions. So like I said previously, if you're starting out or you have all of the struggles, you've had a whole lot of information that can, help guide you through all of those emotions, through all of those psychological challenges and the likes, to bring you point of consistency in these markets. So I mean, if you're listening to this point and you are, probably you haven't maybe listened to our previous episodes, come on, you're missing out on a lot of information, a lot of free information that can actually put you at a very good position when it comes to trading or investing. All right. So this actually brings us to the end of this particular episode, right? Thank you so much, guys. If you are yet to follow us on our social media platforms, on Instagram, on Twitter, please do well to follow us. All right. So engage. And if you haven't listened to episode 1 and 2, please go ahead and listen and get that information. So follow us every single time so that you are always on track. So thank you so much, guys. It's good. It's very, very amazing to have Dan. So Dan, thank you so much again for actually gracing us with your presence for this episode.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
It's like we'll bring you on board.
I look forward to that. I love trading basically. So
beautiful.
I love to talk about trading and walk people through how to get over many things, because when you experience something, it's just like people can actually go through this, and you don't want people to go through this. Rather, people can actually scale through without having to go through all of these funny emotions.
Wow. All right, guys, that was amazing. If you actually followed, you'd realize that you did not hear my voice at all, because I was actually taking notes. I was learning, because trust me, as a trader, you really need to continue to check your psychology, make sure that you're balanced, make sure that you have everything in check. Thank you very much, Daniel. I really do appreciate this. I know I picked 1 or 2 things, and I hope that we all did too. Now, let's not forget that we want to hear from you. We want to know, we hope that all these things we're getting to learn, even if it feels like we're starting from the very beginning, I hope that we're applying them. We're not just here to talk about them, but we want to be able to learn new things, apply them for us to have better profitability and also better results. So don't forget, we really do want to hear from you. If there's anything you really want us to talk about, you want us to discuss on the show, you can drop us a DM on our Instagram and Twitter. Let's not forget that every time we listen to the show, as we're listening to it, let us subscribe on Spotify so that we can get access to the next show. Like I told you, this is going to be the easiest financial trading class that you would be attending, and also helping you to understand how to make much more better and safer investment. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. I hope we learned a lot. I learned a lot. I was quiet. I'm sure you did not hear my voice. I just let it to Daniel to the talking so that I could learn. I also want to learn. So I hope we also learned. Let's try to subscribe on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Let's not forget, it's Market on Mike, and looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. But before then, see you in the market. Bye, guys.